we absolutely lose our capacity to read. One of the things that goes along with that is feeling heavy, feeling tight, feeling like our memory's not as sharp. We have less patience with other people. So breathing, which is one of the first things that we lose in the stress response, is also one of the most important things so that we can have an equanimity and a groundedness in the center of gravity throughout the day. Very important. I think time management is so critical. 20 hours is what the average American watches per week of TV. 20 hours. So if we go back to this slide right here, the first 4 things on that list you are absolutely in control of. You are absolutely in control of those first 4 things. And in fact, you're in control of the 5th, but it usually takes help from somebody else. With 20 hours a week going to TV, and I'm not saying that most of you do that, in fact, I hope you don't. And sometimes you may watch more, you may watch less, but that's the #1 killer of health, I think, in the United States. A lot of us spend a lot of time in transit. You know, we spend 12 hours per day in a car or a train. I think a great use of that time is listen to an iPod, get books on tape, listen to stuff that's really inspiring to you. It can be about your profession. It can be about health. It can be about spiritual growth or personal growth or a novel that you really like. Anything that just helps you get you into a place that's not into that listening to the news and the financial markets are falling apart and the oil spill that won't stop and geopolitical instability in Iran and worsening relationships. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I watch the news a little bit every day because I need to know for the work I do what's going on in the world. Yet, I just don't let it take me over. I think, too, one of the things I love about this is just learning to say no. Just say no to people, to things. The other thing, I went to the mall the other day and I had a lot on my plate. And I was kind of fidgety, kind of edgy. And I walked in the mall saying, okay, I'm fidgety, I'm edgy. I knew that if I looked at anything to buy, I had to ask a simple question. Do I want it or do I need it? And if I don't need it, my general rule is wait a week. Because I knew if I was a little bit stressed, I might buy stuff. I've often eaten. Who here has eaten when they're stressed? Right? So I've often used food as a way. Just, do I want this or do I need this? Learn to say no. I think being organized, learning to make lists based on your values, based on what makes you happy in life, not just an endless to-do list, right? This may be a little West Coast, but as you know, Lynn and I have been on the West Coast for a long time. We're pretty new to Charlotte, so forgive me if this isn't Charlotte language. But I think just the person that you want to be, it's important to act that way. Mahatma Gandhi said, you have to be the change that you want to see. I think my favorite thing on here is don't should on yourself. Tony Robbins, the great motivational speaker and professional coach who loves my work, has said don't should all over yourself. Stop shoulding on yourself. This belief that I should have done this, I should have had that, it's absolutely toxic. Replace the word with should. I could have, but at the time I didn't have the tools. I could have, but I didn't want to. Period. Move forward. You have a whole new set of opportunities just by changing 2 words. Don't use the word should. Who here 10 years ago or more had some major life event that seemed all-encompassing, all-pervasive, and completely overwhelming? Anybody? If you look back at it now, does it seem like it just wasn't a big deal? We all had that. So you can either laugh now, you can get perspective now, or you can wait 10 years. It's entirely up to you because nothing's going to change. The other thing that I love is just the complain and gossip thing is very tough. It's hard on other people, it's hard on the system. You guys know when the mood is low at work, it affects everybody, right? And we can each be little facilitators of change by just stopping complaining and gossiping. I mean, it may be totally valid, but in general, don't do it. It's just, I learned that the hard way. There's a great book called Complaint-Free World. They give you a challenge if you can not complain, I think, for 40 days. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. You're right, nothing's new under the sun, that's for sure. And so, in terms of me and my specialty, it's really helping people to be in optimal health. It's not, health is not the absence of disease. It's our ability to basically be happy, to be joyful, to have an optimal state of physical, mental, emotional, and if you want to even go that far, spiritual well-being. Now, I don't say that, I think most of you guys know that I'm a chiropractor by training. I also have a master's degree in Chinese medicine and acupuncture. I don't even like to say that at the beginning because what is the thing that most of us think about in terms with chiropractic, right? My back pain. My neck hurts. There you go, back cracker. That's a good one. So, I don't even mention that because the most important thing is doctor means teacher. So I'm really more interested in teaching you, and that's me right there. And we're located in Myers Park, just down the road. You can find me on Facebook and have a Twitter following. So if you like little pearls of wisdom about health and wellness, you can feel free.
You said you do have a Twitter following?
Yes. So I just want to cover a couple pieces because that fifth part we talked about is your central nervous system. There's nothing that your nervous system does not control. Everything, everything, everything. Remember we talked about the cancer cells? Your nervous system is controlling your immune system. In terms of your digestion, your heart beating, all that stuff. And if you were to take all the nerves in your body, I think this is just really cool, they stretch about 12 miles. So you can pretty much get from here to uptown, right, just with your nervous system. Now, the other thing that's important to understand is that of your nervous system, only 10% of it actually deals with pain. That means 90% of it is really dealing with the automatic function of everything that's keeping us here together. Breathing, our heart beating, autonomic function. You know, you can think of Christopher Reeve, right, who, very sad story, broke his neck. He couldn't even go outside because just the temperature change could kill him because he lost the ability to regulate his temperature. So all these things that we take for granted to keep us alive are constantly under the guise of the nervous system. And if stress then is one of the major things that affects our nervous system, it makes sense to get some way to understand if the nervous system can be affecting your health. Most people will say to me, oh, I'm so glad I don't need to go to a chiropractor. What are they really saying? I don't have pain is what they're saying. But 90% of your nerve function has nothing to do with pain, and it's about compensating to the stress and helping you be healthy. Just briefly, I like this because we just don't know a lot of this stuff. You know, a lot of times people will come and see me for headaches or neck pain.